Have you ever wondered why you can be smart, work really hard, and still feel like you're financially stuck in the same place? Well, in this explainer, we're not going to talk about budgets or side hustles. Nope. We're going deep into the hidden psychology that actually controls your money.
It's such a frustrating loop, right? You follow all the usual advice. Get a good job, try to save up, but the needle just barely moves. It's a really common feeling. But what if the real problem isn't your paycheck or even the economy, but something that's happening inside your own head?
And that right there is the heart of what we're digging into today. The biggest things holding you back from building wealth aren't outside of you. They're the invisible patterns, the subconscious programs running in your own mind. We're about to shine a bright light on all of it. To really get this, we've got to look at the software your brain is running whenever it thinks about money. You can think of them as your invisible scripts.
Now, these scripts aren't just little thoughts you have here and there. Oh no, they are the fundamental rules you live by without even knowing it. They automatically filter every single decision you make about spending, about saving, and even how much success you allow yourself to chase.
So where do we pick these up? Well, we absorb them from a super young age, from how our parents talked about bills at the dinner table, to the stories we see in movies, and especially from our own emotional run-ins with things like scarcity or insecurity. They become part of our core programming.
So how exactly do these scripts cause problems? Well, they build these psychological traps that keep us stuck. But here's the good news. Once you can name these traps, you can start to see them, and then you can start to avoid them.
We're going to walk through 6 of the most powerful psychological hurdles. These are the big ones: our craving for instant rewards, our fears, what society has taught us, how we see ourselves, what we don't know, and finally, who we think is responsible for our success.
All right, first up, our caveman brain. It is hardwired for survival right now, not for planning retirement in 40 years. This is exactly why spending money on that new phone or that vacation feels so good in the moment, even when we kind of know it's messing with our long-term goals. We're choosing today's comfort over tomorrow's security. Every time.
Fear. Man, this one is huge. It absolutely paralyzes us. The fear of losing money keeps us from investing, so our cash just sits in a bank account, losing value to inflation. The fear of failure stops us from even trying to start that side hustle. And the fear of what other people will think, that keeps us from aiming too high. Doing nothing feels safe, but it's actually a guaranteed financial loss. Think about it for a second. From the time we're kids, our entire system is pretty much designed to create good employees. Get good grades, find a safe job, collect a steady paycheck. We're conditioned to rely on a wage rather than to create value, or, more importantly, own assets. It makes things like disciplined investing feel like you're going against the grain.
This is so critical. Your identity drives your behavior on autopilot. If you subconsciously believe, "I'm just not a money person," then your actions will literally conspire to prove that belief true. To change your finances, you first have to change how you see yourself, from a spender to an investor or a builder.
Now, this isn't about being smart or not. It's about a lack of very specific knowledge. If you don't understand how things like compound interest or owning assets actually work, then your only tool to make more money is to work more hours. And that creates a hard ceiling on your income that you can just never break through.
This last trap is all about ownership. It's that subtle, unconscious belief that someone else, a boss with a big raise, the government with a new program, or heck, even a winning lottery ticket, is going to come and solve our money problems. But real wealth, it only begins when you take 100% total ownership of your financial future.
And this is why these traps are so incredibly dangerous. You see, compounding doesn't just work for your investments, it also works against you. Small, bad habits, a little overspending here, putting off investing there, they compound into a massive, massive opportunity cost over the decades.
Okay, so we've seen the traps. It's a bit heavy, I know. But now for the good news. You can absolutely rewire your brain. So let's look at the mental shift that's required to actually build wealth.
The difference here is just stark. A stagnant mindset is all about spending and what feels good right now. A growth mindset, on the other hand, is focused on acquiring assets that generate value over the long haul. It's that fundamental shift from depending on a paycheck to focusing on ownership. This is the core psychological change you have to make. See, building wealth isn't about one big lucky break. It's about building a system.
This means designing your life to make good choices easier, managing your emotional impulses, constantly learning how money really works, and, this is the most important one, staying consistent over a long, long time.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this. You can have all the opportunities in the world, but you won't be able to grab them until your internal psychology is aligned with creating wealth. The internal change has to happen before the external results can show up. And that brings us to the most important question. After everything we've talked about, what is one limiting belief? One of those invisible scripts about money that you can identify and consciously decide to rewrite, starting right now. Thanks so much for watching.